I know what it means to be abused, because I was abused. I know what it means to be addicted, because I was addicted. I know what it means to look in the mirror and hate what you see. There's some of you in this place tonight. You feel like giving up. You've tried for so long to have that emptiness in your life filled. You've tried many different things, and it's always left you more empty than before. I know the kind of pain inside that makes you want to take your own life. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. If you wouldn't mind giving me 5 or 10 minutes of your time and just backing up and then just having a seat, and I'm begging you to just give me 5 or 10 minutes without conversation with somebody else.
No, I was telling you, man, about my son. And I was telling you how tough it is for me. Because he's 5.5, and my 2.5-year-old son is starting to realize too when Daddy has to go. But my 5.5-year-old son really knows, and he counts down the hours, not just the days. He knows that Daddy's leaving in 5 days, and on that day he counts down till 9 o'clock or 12 o'clock, whenever our bus call is. And you can see the anxiety in my son's eyes. Because he doesn't want Daddy to leave. And so the reason I do this every night, this 5 or 10 minutes, this is the only way that I could possibly justify leaving my beautiful wife Lori and my 3 kids. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't love music that much. Not enough to leave my wife and kids. The reason that my son sacrifices, and the reason that my wife Lori makes the sacrifice, and the reason I make the sacrifice isn't for the concert that we put on for you. It's for these 10 minutes right here every single night. Because we believe in a living God that puts broken people back together again. I couldn't stay home knowing that there's some of you out here that are hurting this bad. And maybe something I could say to you tonight would help you to not commit suicide. Maybe something I could say to you tonight would help you have a better life and realize how beautiful you are and how much you're worth to God. No, there's no way I could stay home knowing. But you guys are out here and you need someone to speak into your life, because we're a generation that has no idea who we are. We've let everybody else tell us who we are. We've let the media tell us who we are, who we should be. We're a generation that has no clue who we are. And we wander around aimlessly, trying to find a purpose in this world. And we usually end up at the bottom of a bottle of pills, or a bottle of liquor, or drugs. 14 years old was the first time I tried cocaine. My father used to beat my mother, and my only memories of my father were him beating my mother. He left when I was about 3.5 years old, and that was the last memory I had of him. At 3.5 is that day that he almost beat my mother to death as I was about 10 feet away from him. I was looking for something to take this hurt away for so long that finally at the age of 14 I tried cocaine. And I would use cocaine whenever somebody had it around. By the age of 15 or 16 I was selling drugs. Got arrested. Got right back out and started using and selling again. By the age of 18 I was a convicted felon. Got locked up again. I was right back out doing the same thing again. By the age of 21 years old, I had a several $100 a day cocaine addiction. My mother was a single mother that raised 2 boys on her own with no child support. And I stole from my own mother to get high. A mother that did nothing but love me. I didn't believe in God. My mom would pray for me every night, but I didn't believe there was a God. Besides, even if there was a God in heaven that was holy and righteous, what would he want with a worthless drug addict like me? Some of you feel that way right now. Some of you smile on the outside just to hide the pain inside. And you laugh and you joke, but inside, you're hurting so bad that you can hardly stand it. There's some of you in this room, I promise you, that knows what it means to cry themselves to sleep. There's some of you that have been abused, and you've been hiding secrets for years. Maybe you did the abusing. Finally, one day I decided I was going to commit suicide. I wasn't crying out for help. I was looking to end my life, and I took a lethal dose of cocaine to stop my heart that day. And my mother walked in unexpectedly, and I had a heart attack in front of my mother on our living room floor. And she was screaming and crying out to Jesus to save my life. But God, I didn't believe in. And in the back of the ambulance, I felt the very hand of God. And I said, Jesus, give my life to you tonight if you'll still have me. That was the first time in my life that I ever felt like I was worth something. That was the first time in my life that I ever felt like I got picked. That was the first time in my life I ever felt the love of a father. A father that I'd been longing for since I was a little kid. You know, my Father in heaven told me who I am. He told me that night in the back of the ambulance who I was. And tonight, some of you that are wondering who you really are, you've looked to everybody else to tell you who you are. Maybe you've never had a godly man or woman to speak into your life to tell you who you are, how you should live your life. But that night in the back of the ambulance, God told me who I was. And he said, Joseph, you're the head and not the tail. You're above and not beneath. You're not a throwaway. You're not trash. You're a king's kid. You're royalty. And you have power inside of you that you never knew you had. The power of God. You can do all things. He would tell you that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. That greater is He that is in you than he that's in the world. You're not a lost generation. You're a chosen generation. I'm going to tell you right now, there are enough of you in this room. There's enough of you in this room to change the whole entire world for Jesus Christ. That's the truth. There's enough of you right here in this room to change the whole world for Jesus Christ. You can make a difference, but the first thing you have to do is to get your own life in order. And the only way that that's going to happen is if you quit holding on to all that junk in your life. Some of you have been holding on for so long and you just don't know how to let it go. Hey, He loves you, man.